I first learned of Dakota Boys and Girls Ranch about 17 years ago. I had a friend who was a child care staff out here working in the cottages with the kids directly. Said that it was really enjoyable and thought I'd be good at doing it, and so I took a leap of faith and applied out here and got a job and been here since. My role is a dual role. I have some administrative responsibilities as the assistant principal, but I'm also the day program coordinator. What that is at the schools we offer education to two distinct groups, the residential students that are here living on our campus, and then we offer a day program, which is for students in the surrounding communities and local communities to be able to come to school out here. Those students haven't had success most of the time in the public schools, so this is an opportunity at a smaller setting with some more individualized kind of attention to help them be educationally successful. So I have that responsibility as the day program coordinator. As I've learned over the years, you know, the mission and the vision drive us into helping, drives us to want to help kids. When I see our mission just in words and how it reflects Christ's love, I think what happens out here is that people walk that walk. When we're asked, you know, how do you work with those kind of kids? How do you do it out there? Because we are asked that. You know, people tell us, oh, I couldn't work out there, and it's truly embracing that and understanding that what Christ asked of us is to have patience and tolerance with everyone, and I think we drive that mission by walking that walk with these kids each and every day. The programs that we offer here on the Minot campus, we have the therapeutic riding program. That's both residential based and community based. We have a wonderful mini bike program, the National Youth Program, using those mini bikes sponsored through Honda. Nothing better to motivate a student or a kid to put some behavioral goals in place and say, hey, if you achieve these, you get to go ride a dirt bike. It's worked tremendously well. Occupational therapy, we have special education programs for kids. 80% of our kids in our school are on IEPs, so really identifying the individualization of that education for those kids. The Spiritual Life program is beneficial to the kids. You know, I've been here long enough to have witnessed some baptisms in the chapel, and there's nothing, well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of events that have happened to me over 17 years, but that is one of the strongest things that I will take away from here, if or when I ever go, is watching not only the child themselves be baptized, but also watching their families be baptized in the faith, and that's a pretty cool thing to see. I think the most important thing that we can do is to walk that walk that I talked about, to mentor for these kids and role model. I think one of the biggest lines that I use up here with kids with patience and tolerability is, help me to understand why it's okay that you treat me a certain way when nobody in this environment treats you that way. And I think that resonates with kids tremendously because they're used to responding with profanity. They're used to responding with intolerance and impatience. And when you role model what's expected of you and you're patient and tolerant as Christ has been with us, I think that significantly impacts kids, and I think there's no greater impact than having the opportunity to mentor, to role model for those kids. And you know, in some of the teams that I've ran over the years, I've had to ask them, how did you from Ohio, and you from Canada, and you from Montana, and you from Illinois, and me from North Dakota all come together in this one program to work with these kids? And when we reflected on it, we came to the consensus that we think, I mean, there's a higher power at work here. You don't just end up in a small town in one city in North Dakota working with these kids by chance. I think there's a calling to come out here, and I've been very blessed, and I've been able to actually point that out to some younger people along the way as I've had some years out here, and they've been very receptive to understanding that. To watch them, you know, smile and to be enlightened with that, to say it's not just chance, it wasn't just an application, it wasn't just a job, it's no, you know, you possess the qualities that are unique to working with these kids. And so Maybe some of us aren't as cognizant as others, but I think God has given us a calling to come out here and work with these kids, because it does take some special people to work with these kids. I think for us to carry on the Word is important. I think for us to understand what's expected of us, and to say that the message that we send these kids is not about us as the human being, us as the authority figure, us as the person in the role as an observer or a treatment advisor. It's us as human beings to say, this is what we think, this is how we feel, and that's what these kids connect to. These kids connect to the realness of the person that's sitting in front of them or standing in front of them and talking with them. They can see right through some of that falseness. So for us, I think, to be acutely aware of what is expected of us as disciples and carrying on the message is hugely important, because those kids read us like a book. They're used to it and they understand that. And if we don't have that realness in us, we're going to stifle opportunities to help change these kids' lives. So it goes back to walking that walk again. You can support us. This entire institution exists because of the kindness of people, through donations, through volunteer work, through donating through the thrift stores. That money that's generated through that goes directly into programming to help these kids on a daily basis. And so there's numerous ways, but the generosity of people in all those ways has allowed us to continue on with the mission and vision of Dakota Boys and Girls Ranch, because of that kindness and generosity. These kids need prayer. We need prayer as staff. Just want to share with you that Pastor Jones sent out a devotion yesterday morning that was spot on to some of the things that I'm going through. I sent him in a thank you. I think it's vitally important for our spiritual wholeness to pray, and for us not to just pray, but to people to pray, because it does get trying at times, to be honest with you. It gets hard some days when you don't have the strength yourself. You know, it's greatly appreciated, and more importantly, I think it's needed for these kids. A lot of the kids that come to us don't have a spiritual background, and so part of what they learn here is the initiation of their spiritual awakening or enlightenment, whatever you would like to call it. So as we go through that, as we need as much strength and prayer as we can, and to find out, you know, in God's hands we put these things, and He'll guide us and show us the right way. I do what I do because I care about kids. I've had students over the years that I think have came to us with little or no hope. We've had residents in kind of the same situation. Why I do what I do is because I've seen what Dakota Boys and Girls Ranch does for kids. I've watched that change happen while they're here. I've watched families grow. I've watched kids graduate from school. I've watched kids complete treatment and become sober. I've seen it for a lot of years, and for me to be just a small part of that integral process and a catalyst that can help that change happen. I've been here long enough to see kids come back after they've left Dakota Boys and Girls Ranch, who are now parents, who are now educating their own children in school or trying to help them in that, and I've gotten that feedback. Those are the things that drive me, and the reason that I'm here is because I'm here for the kids. I guess the biggest thing for me that I want people to know about this place is that it makes a difference in the life of these kids. We've had a lot of kids over the time that I've been here that have came here damaged. You know, I want to be honest about it. Because God knows how damaged some of these kids are. And this isn't just about some superficiality of trying to help. It's truly about mending some of that damage and repair and giving these kids hope. And all that hope comes from people that have, this business has been a business, but this place has existed for 60 years. And in those 60 years, we have touched a lot of lives. And I think the important thing for me that God wants me to know and to communicate and to carry on is the fact that we've made a difference in a lot of kids' lives in His name and in His Son's name. And that is just hugely rewarding.